episode of SWYP's 7-Minute Supersonic Podcast, where we bring the best of the leaders of the industry for 7 minutes, and we challenge them to say something meaningful in a very short period of time. Today's guest is Laura Hatch. Laura, give us a quick bio. Quick, when I say quick, it's got to be quick.
I know, right? We got 7 minutes. I didn't know it was a challenge. I'm Laura Hatch. I'm the owner of Front Office Rocks. I've been an office manager since 2002. Started Front Office Rocks about 5 years ago. It's an online training website to help dentists train front office team members. There you go. 30 seconds.
Excellent. What was the, how'd you start it? Why'd you start it? You were an office manager and you were like, this place needs help and I can probably sell some services into this place.
Well, it was more of a couple of reasons. I hear dentists say all the time they need to hire somebody with dental experience in the front, and you really don't. We can train them that. Secondly, I had turnover in my office, and I thought if I have to explain the same thing over and over again to new employees, I was going to, hang myself. So I was like, okay, this isn't working. And I didn't want to be a consultant and go in office. I don't have that interest, but I wanted to have a resource to help offices, to help the brand new receptionist who doesn't know how to answer the phone, or the dentist when he needs to hire. So I started an online training to be able to kind of handle all of those areas. And
it's been around 3 years, 5 years? What is it?
5 years is when I started recording. I would work all day and then at night make videos of all the things that happened that day. Right. And I really kind of launched it where people started hearing about us about 3 years ago.
Got it. And so it is, it's online only, or no, you do seminars too, right?
I train, yeah. What I am not is a consultant. I don't go in office. I don't do consulting. So my training is either in person, so I speak and I have my own seminars around the country, or online. And the idea is that any dentist can train any employee from any computer at any time. So I wanted to be a resource when they needed it.
Got it. And training is so important. How important is, in your opinion, how important is lifelong learning for all of us, really?
Well, I think it's huge. In fact, one of my big mantras that I'm trying to get off to my clients right now is for new employees, they should do an hour of training a day. And for current employees, it should be an hour a week. And the thing is a lot of dentists focus on clinical training. Let's learn how to do procedures faster and all of that. I'm about not only clinical, but experience, customer service. Patients judge us on how they feel in the office and how they're treated in the office. And so I think it's huge for your team members to always be growing and learning and getting better in that area.
An hour a day?
For a new employee. So you take a brand new employee and you put them on an hour of training. Most dental offices, when they get somebody brand new in the front office, we give them very little training, if that. And then we throw them to the phones and say, go, right? Which is the worst thing we can do. So I think training is undervalued in our company and our dental offices. And I think we need to value it more.
Yeah, and maybe if we looked at it more like our own healthy living and exercise, can you imagine exercising once a month?
Right.
It doesn't work, right? If you eat healthy once a month, it doesn't work. Even once a week, it doesn't work. You do have to kind of stay on it. So it's you recommend once a day for new employees and once a week for existing, did you say?
Yeah. Once a week for existing, just an hour. And it's, especially nowadays, I'm not the only platform out there that has video training. Just watching, things like this, let them watch and learn clinical training, customer service training, read articles, something. But we push so much about production. Let's get more production in, let's produce more, that we don't stop and invest in our most valuable asset, which is our team and our employees.
Right. Yeah, that's, I couldn't have said that better. I think people are, once you get the right people, they're almost irreplaceable. And you can replace a chair or an office or you can even replace patients.
Yeah.
But it's probably easier to find new patients than it is to find good employees.
Yeah. And the thing is that the continual investment in training, I think, is huge because we get beat up over time. We're excited when we start and we're all motivated, but then, insurance companies deny things and patients get upset, employees, we have issues, and then we get beat up over time and we're not doing anything to boost ourselves back up. So I think it's important, even if it's just a little, shot in the arm that says, oh, I got to remember how important these things are. I think it's that. And now there's no excuses. With the internet and computers and videos, and there's no excuse to not have time to train.
So what's the right number? How much should a practice invest in training every year?
That's a good question. I'm sure that the higher up consultants would give you a percentage. I think that I don't know what the average number is in the dental office. I will tell you that it's probably not being used. I would say most of the training in dental offices are the doctors going to clinical training.
Right.
Which is great. We need that, right? But my thing is if you go to advanced training and you're learning advanced dentistry, but your team doesn't know how to handle the questions about it, sell it, talk to patients about it, what's the point of going? So you need to balance that when you go to learn, because one of the things I've seen is when doctors go to advanced training, they don't know how to implement it when they come back. They don't know how to get the team on board. And so you've got to balance a percentage in there to make sure your team knows, what you want to do in the practice.
Right. Excellent. So let's talk about the evolution of the office manager. The office manager's role evolved. Let's talk about the continuing evolution of it, because it's, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was one thing. 10 years ago, something different. I don't know that we've got to go back in time to the beginning of time for the listeners or the viewers or whatever, but what is it now? Like, how do you define the word office manager?
I just joined, I didn't just join, but in 2012, I joined a group called ADOM, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with. It's the American Association of Dental Office Management. Best group I've ever joined. I think they're helping to bring office managers to the forefront of the importance. I know dentists don't learn a lot about management, running a business in dental school. And a lot of them feel they need an office manager, but they don't really know when, how, what are they? And so office managers, I think are getting a lot more respect, but also a lot more responsibilities. It's not just here, answer my phones and open and close the office. There's management. We are the middle managers. If you go into a business organization, we're middle management. So we make sure what the doctor wants hopefully flows into the practice. And that's a huge asset, but we also need to understand that there needs to be training and education about how to do that, because a lot of office managers don't have access to that.
Right. Yeah, it's so true. So believe it or not, we're at like 6.5 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that was fast. I know, right?
These things are great. I love these things. Let's do this. Let's end. Give me 30 seconds on how important is attitude, and then maybe we'll do another podcast and we'll talk about culture and attitude. But let's end it on how important is the office manager's attitude in it spreading out through the culture and practice?
Well, I think attitude, culture, all that starts with the leader. It starts with the owner, but the office manager plays a huge part in it. And I think attitude matters because, like what I said early on, patients don't know how to judge us on dentistry. They don't know they don't know if you're a good dentist or not. They don't know how much training you've done. They know how they feel when they come in the office. They know how they're treated by your team. And that comes from the attitude. You treat your office manager well, they treat your team well, they're going to treat your patients well. And it's funny because, when you first get into dentistry, you're all excited and this is going to be amazing. And now we wake up on Monday and we're like, oh, I'd rather own a donut shop. Well, it's not because of the dentistry. It's because of going to the office and dealing with all the things we have to deal with. So I think attitude is huge because that comes across to the patients, and that's how we're really going to grow our practices and help our patients get their dentistry done.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, 7 minutes is up. Thanks, Laura Hatch. Maybe we'll do another one. Appreciate you. Front Office Rocks is doing a great thing, and I appreciate your time and your expertise on this subject. Thanks.
Thank you.